Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 58 of Wise Wednesdays with RK. I do apologize for the delay. Sorry about that. We have kept our amazing speaker for today, VAL ALINO, who is on standby. She is a life and spiritual conscious parenting coach. She is someone who has been through so much in her life, and when she speaks, it's almost like it's poetry. She is an international consultant expert in conscious leadership and educational project management. She's a volunteer, an educator, an NLP practitioner. I can go on forever. But without further ado, and because I know you're here waiting for her and we're already delayed, thank you so much for waiting. And I bring to you the amazing, the magical Val. Thank you, Val.
Thank you, my friend, for that loving welcoming. It's a pleasure to always see you, to now feel your community and be aligned as always to your beautiful heart because you attract who you are. So all that you said about me, I think you are 10 times that. And this is why Source allows this encounters to happen. And also the audience that will be joining will be the exact audience that needs to hear this. So with no expectations of the outcome, I give to you and your audience my time, my love, my experiences, and any wisdom that I've been able to pick up along this crazy journey of life.
Super. So thank you, Val, for saying yes. And I know we've waited a long, long time for this conversation. And we've got Vidya watching from India. Guys, please let us know where you're watching, your name, say hi so that we can acknowledge you for the time that you are giving us, because you could be doing anything under the sun or the moon right now, but you chose to be here. You chose to listen to us, whether it is on the live or on the recap, and we value your time and attention. So thank you. The conversation today is around how to see brightness through every storm. And it's interesting that Val said, okay, let's do this one because this is what I feel is the right conversation to have. So, Val, when you say how to see brightness through every storm, what would you like to focus on, the storm or the brightness?
Well, when you see those two elements as separation, that's where the whole thing starts, right? Because there can't be one without the other. And I see them more as one. And when we are in those dark moments, those storms, that notice that I use quotations, it really is a storm. It is depending on the lens that you have on at that particular time of your life that allows you to see or not to see what is coming up. So I always ask when I am asked around this topic, how would you like your life if it's all perfection? I don't believe in perfection, but for the purpose of this conversation, you have your perfect house and your partner and your children have beautiful uniforms, they have straight A's, and where would the growth be? How could you really grow from those experiences and actually transcend experience to others? So through this journey of life, I have learned that despite of those dark moments, those storms, it is really where you really rise, where you really find out what you are made of, why you are here, what is it that you are doing to co-create maybe this situation. So it is endless opportunities of growth. So when it's like I'm actually looking to the left because I'm overseeing the ocean. And when those dark clouds start building up and you hear that the ocean is coming harder and the movement and how the waves are building up, you know that something is coming. What do? We watch for the storm, we close the windows, we get prepared, we might get extra food if there's a hurricane or whatnot. Why don't we listen to these signs that our inner body tells us when something is coming? We are made by the perfection of God. You get, your stomach all crumpled up and sweats and heartbeats, and you're feeling unsettled, low vibration, low energy, and yet we just pretend like nothing is happening. I have never actually done this analogy. I'm glad that this is recording because I actually love it and I will use it in future events. Why
Yes,
do we
please.
not look at the storm like that in our
Within.
bodies? Yes, because this is all where the answer is. But we pretend to give a face that all is well, that nothing's wrong. We shy away from asking for help, from seeing light in those that are broken. But it is then that you just look within and you think that particular second moment, aha moment that you are experiencing, that you know something's coming, to rise higher.
And I love what you shared. And there's this brilliant comment that came in all the way from Australia. It has come in, and Abdullah says, "Thunder brings light, which is energy."
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for your comment.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So when we look at storms, we feel like, oh my God, it's a storm. It's scary. It's daunting. But I like what you said about, preparing yourself for it, and also what Abdullah said about thunder bringing light and energy. It's this, even in the darkest of times when there's thunder, there is this flash where you can see what's going on. It could be the darkest of nights, it could be a storm, and then when there's thunder, there is that flash of light, and you're able to, for a quick moment, have a snapshot of what's going on around you. And you're able to catch it if you are aware and if you are, in the right headspace. So I've got some of your fans watching. We've got Monica who's watching as well. She says, really elated to be with you people. You both are good. Thank you so much, Monica, for
Thank
that.
you.
And we have got Vidya, as I said some time ago. We've got Srikant, who's joined the channel very recently, and we've got our Picky coach watching us as well. Thank
Oh,
you.
Piki, she's the best. Thank you, my love, for always being so supportive of
She is
us, you,
amazing.
and the world. I love your heart.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, well, your journey is very fascinating. Whether it is as a mom, whether it is as someone who has been an educator, a volunteer, doing so many things in life. So, tell us, when was that snapshot moment for you where you realized, okay, I want to do this, and this is my journey?
Mm, beautiful question. I'm very blessed to know at a very, very young age what I was going to do in life. When I say you young, I'm telling you five, meaning I knew I wanted to be in education. When you're a little girl, you're playing that you're going to be this and that. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be of service to children, even though I was a child my own. I had been exposed to a lot because of the service heart that my family has. So since I remember, even, I mean, I don't have memories of being in a stroller, but I know I was taken since I was born to different causes to help humanity. And I always involved in that. So I knew I wanted to make a difference. And I saw a lot of children suffering, and when we go along with the family to do these things. And then as I grew up and I had my own share of pains and wounds that were very severe, by age 14, I was buying my first books about psychology and parenting because my goal was to make sure I would be of service to every child because I knew that children had the answer to evolution, peace, and love. And sure enough, that is all I have done my entire life. Help heal, transform, evolve teachers, educators, people in companies, parents, so that in doing so, they bring a place of love and growth for children and helping build a new generation of more consciousness. And to be honest, what my strongest bone, which is conscious parenting, although I'm blessed to handle different things for my clients and my social causes, the point is when you're doing conscious parenting, which is just the awakening of yourself, you're actually gonna be having that evolution in every aspect of your life. So I guess we bring you into the consciousness with your children, but in doing so, you're gonna transform your life 360 degrees in every
Yes,
angle because you can't
definitely.
just discern. your growth is only for this aspect of your life. It's a full fan of opportunities that you can actually start embracing and seeing life with a different lens. I always speak about this analogy of the lens. You know, which lens do you have today? The pity, the angry, the hopeful, the loved human being. You have the ability to make your own choices of how you decide to be today, every day.
True. So while I like your analogy of the lenses, and sometimes lenses get smudged, right? So you're wearing the lens of hope, as you said. You're wearing the lens of positivity, and sometimes these lenses get smudged with experiences that haven't really kind of worked in your favor, and you've seen that plans didn't go as planned. And you're though it is the lens of hope and positivity that you're wearing, it's just smudged by the experiences of life. So what would you, I mean, share with me your thoughts on this. What do you think about it?
Okay, so if your lens got smudged, scratched, in fact broken, that you cannot use them and see clearly, then that's a bigger opportunity for growth. So the question, I'm all about asking as many questions as you can to bring possibilities, which is actually a part of a session of healing that I use, the method called access consciousness. So
Yes.
the more you ask questions, the more you open possibilities. So what is it about this situation that I am not seeing now that can be of service to me and to others? Is this energy, is this situation mine or someone else's? And notice I bring out my hands because energetically you will be drawn to see a lot of times we're carrying that obstacle that is not allowing something to go in the direction of what we think is the way is not the way. When you total surrender to the what is, the infinite possibilities, to whatever your belief system is, the stars, the moon, God, Krishna, Allah, whoever you pray to, that you know that there's a higher source trying to tell you it's not the path. Learn and go to the right. But we want to go straight. Why? Because we are in so low vibration that we are eating off the experiences of others. Because I might ask a loved one, a friend, whatever, and they say, Rukia, please don't go to the right. I've already gone. Your uncle has gone and the neighbor has gone. And I'm telling you, I'm saving you. Do not go right. And then we live off of the expenses and experiences of others. Why? In fact, I just not too long ago, this blessing came to me by I noticed a story that I caught on social media that has really struck me, and it's some teachings of a Shaolin master, and
Yes.
he was explaining that his master taught him this, and he said there was a man overseeing a beautiful mountain, sitting in front of the mountain all the time, and was always wishing to have the strength and the courage to go up this mountain and wondering what was at the top, what was that view. And so one day he finally started wanting to make this climb. And as soon as he started climbing, one of the first tourist guys came down and said, "Hey, excuse me, which way did you go? What is the easiest way to go? Because we tend to do that in life. To just give me the shortcut. I just want to get there, right? And what was your view?" So he gained that experience from that person and so forth from the next tourist. 30 people came down, 30 different perspectives and whatnot. The man decided not to climb ever more because he already knew what was up there according to the lens of all these other people and got their own evaluation without living the experience. So how many things in life are we missing out from experiencing our own journey? Can you even imagine what would have been of this man to stand at the top of the mountain and to feel so whole, filled with joy and blissfulness at that top of the mountain, be feeling more accompanied than even with 3,000 people because of that moment. And yet we miss out on this and hundreds of moments. So the point of your question is why we do this work. How do you see and move on from that broken, and in fact, Ruth, it's not one lens. You can have 5 pairs of
Multiple,
lenses,
of course.
right? And how you gain your strength, you keep on being mindful, centered, doing the practice, doing your meditation, seeing the light in the dark, keeping self-care. Because in these instances, we forget to eat, we fall into a depression, we start saying negative things. Oh, what else could happen to me? This, and every single person you can have encounters with, you say, you won't believe what happened. And you say the whole list and the whole list. And the more you say it, the more you feel like a sense of somebody like finally listening to you, and that you fall in this a little bit of a being a victim. And so you have your attention because you feel whole and content. I've been there. I mean, the only reason I know this is because I've been through hell and back. Okay. And what is
Absolutely.
hell?
Yeah.
It's really not hell. I've had too many opportunities to grow. So my invitation to anybody watching this is honoring every single stage, every single step, every single experience that comes your way, because it has come to you for a reason. We just need to find out
Absolutely.
why.
Absolutely. And I think the more you resist a difficult situation, the more it begins to rub on you. The more it begins to hurt you. However, if you flow with the situation, the more you're going to find where it's taking you, right? There's going to be less of resistance, and you're going to be more of awareness and appreciation for where life is taking you. Thank you for sharing that so beautifully. We've got Naren on board. We've got, as I said, Picky. And guys, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. I do appreciate the appreciation, but yes, ask us some amazing questions too. So we've got Lens Smudged, New Direction, maybe look outside the box. Absolutely. Hi, Abdurrahim. Thank you for joining us. And move from what does not serve you. Actually, Picky, why not move with what does not serve you? Because if you move with it, it's like you're creating this energy and flow of learning what it is and what it's doing for you. Thank you so much. So brilliant. So you got into coaching and to public speaking. Tell us a little about your journey and why you do what you do.
Yes. Public speaking has really been a strong arm. And I did not know I had that passion for that particular aspect of my life. I guess because I was quiet for such a long time to tell my story, to, you know, how to deal with these wounds, because you don't want to hurt your loved ones from a situation that happens or whatnot. I mean, I've gone through a lot of things that many of our viewers have gone through, because, I mean, if you look at it, it's all the same situations, just happens in different countries and under different situations, but it is just hardship to live divorces, separation, abuse, depression, you name it. It is these moments that what do you decide to do with them? And in my case, I was quiet for years because I was told that I had such a beautiful heart that it was so weak, and that everything was hidden away from me. Every time I walked near attention in my family, people would be quiet. And at that time, I knew that they were doing it out of love to protect me. But then this protection ended up being more hardship to me by keeping all these experiences that had happened to me for years. And when I decided to break free and speak, it was really challenging. I never thought I had this skill that I now have, but why do I have it, and why do I speak with so much passion? And people say, "Oh my gosh, your connection!" And now I teach my signature training. It's called Speak, Connect, and Grow from the Heart. And because I don't want people to ever not speak their truth, to share their love and their talents with as many people as they can. So while this course teaches you techniques, yes, to be a better speaker, we go really more in depth to find out the whys. Why is it that your voice crackles? Why can't you look at the eye of the eye level of the people or the camera? What is all those things that are happening inside of you to break free? And then you can either use this as a stand up on a stage or just to have skills and feeling secure and how to communicate, because we all have that power, but we have bought into the stories that people have told us. That's not your forte. That's not what you should be studying. Every time you speak, you're a little awkward. You just don't make sense. You keep on interrupting, or something that a teacher told you, or we have carried this. I mean, I know Picky's there, and she's a coach as well. She can testify to me. I mean, I want to say 95% of the clients that come our way, there are wounds from when you are a child. Okay. So my whole passion to serve children and to educate adults that are with children is that this stops once and for all. Because if
Absolutely.
we build connections instead of correcting, so I have a whole course on connection over correction in all levels, we're going to have long-lasting relationships with our loved ones until the end of
True.
time.
Yep. I hear you completely. I do have clients that I work with, of course, as a coach, who have these situations, and it's always something that someone said when you were little. My biggest limiting belief was nobody listens to me, because I came from a space where my mom was very authoritarian, and I felt like if I tried saying something, if I had one glare from her, it meant just zip up and sit down. So that I kept holding on to my feelings, and that's where writing poetry began for me. And I would express to paper, and that's the quality, or that's the skill set that I used moving forward in life. We have this very, and I think you still haven't gotten to the part where, why do you do what you do? You addressed everything else, but let us know, why do you do what you do?
Well, I touched a little bit on it, but I will be happy to extend it.
Yes,
I
please.
I want I have a heart for humanity. I now live a life that I'm saying I stopped reading the book, and I'm trying to be the book every day. And what does this mean? To really help everyone that comes along my way, to be able to empower, to be that vessel of love that somebody is missing. And why do I do it? It's because I want these traumas and hearts that are bleeding on a daily basis to stop. Now, it doesn't mean to have, again, this perfect life, but it just means to open consciousness. I do this so that people can feel connected by literally sitting in front of the oceans, by laying and watching the stars, that has so much power and connection, sometimes even more so than having a physical person. And yet that person who doesn't have that physical person is in depression because they don't have that physical body next to them. So my mission, why I do this, to understand and to help people feel the feeling, live with intensity, enjoy their life journey, know that they have the power within themselves to heal these wounds. And most of all, I think one of my biggest mission is to wake up everybody and say it's not too late. Today, if you are hearing this podcast or this YouTube channel, is for a reason. And I want everyone to listen here, that your life is here today. 3 seconds later, you do not know. So my biggest thing is the people live their own truth, to be doing what they love, to experience things based on their own realities, and stop buying the stories of other people. Because when you experience that climb and how you view that peak of the mountain view and the wholeness that you can feel being away from anyone and you standing alone at the peak of a mountain, no one can tell you how that feels. My
Absolutely.
mission is to have everybody to feel connectivity to their heart and to everyone around. And you know what? Also, to stop labeling and judging people, because I have said it over and over. I have had my biggest lessons of transformation not by the hundreds of courses I've taken or Mind Valley courses or spiritual teachers. No, no, no. They have been through the broken people, those that are in the streets, those that are aching in the hospital, those that are, alone. These people that think that they're not a contribution to the society. At least to me, Val, everything that I'm sharing, Rukia, to you and your audience, most of it has been because I have been in the streets, feeling, touching, in exchanging, seeing me as one of them. There's no separation for me in the people I encounter. I treat everybody, at least I try to treat everybody with the same love and respect that I like to be treated. And that's the true magic and essence. But why don't we apply it? And this is why I'm so passionate when I'm given a mic. Well, you don't give me a microphone, but when I have a microphone, that's the end of time.
We've seen you do that. So we have this amazing question from Abdullah. He says, "What is the relation between flowing naturally with life and integrity?"
You got
So
cut off at one point.
yeah, so I said, what is the relation between flowing naturally with life and integrity?
I'm not really, thank you, Abdullah, for your question. So, flow, I can talk to you about flowing naturally with integrity. Let's see if I'm understanding the question. I mean, when you flow, integrity is included in the flowness, if that's even the word, or I'm just making up with my Spanglish. So,
Hmm.
the whole thing about this awakening process, this openness to consciousness, is to be doing, to be and to say, and to work in congruency, regardless if you are flowing, if you are being told, or whatever part of your life you are in. I mean, integrity is, in my opinion, the way I perceive it, is living in accordance to what is right, what is of divine. If I hope I'm understanding Abdullah correctly. So the
So,
secret actually, or not.
no, so what I was going to tell him is, because I know he's watching, so if you have any questions to add on, just type them in while we're talking. So, yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
So for me, the secret to really starting to live in your essence, in true essence, in alignment with source, whatever source means to you, is it doesn't matter if somebody's looking to you or not, that you're always doing everything from the heart and act, being and living the same, whether you are flowing or stuck or being told or whatever the face is. I mean, integrity is such a big word. So I would love for him to maybe narrow it down or ask more a particular question. I am really thankful that for the questions. And I'm wondering if that's the way he wanted it to go.
Yes, so please let us know in comments as we move forward, because we do have a couple of more questions. We've got a question from Piki. She says, "What is the way to feel free inside out in the present?"
Oh, I love that. She's the best. So feel free despite of what everything is going on in the outside. Is that the right question? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, keep typing. Guys, if you've shared a question and as we address your questions, please feel free to type in and let us know whether we're going in the right direction with your question.
Yes. So, Picky, my love, freedom is not that just that you have physical freedom. Yes. And this is the kind of freedom that I am living now, that I know that you particularly are vibrating with. And I want all the audience and I want people to live this freedom. It's freedom of the soul, freedom of the mind, freedom to do what your heart tells you, that when you ask a question, you are given an answer. Literally, whatever your belief system is, you are given the answer by something that casually happened, by something you found, the book that was left in the street and had the answer, the music you heard, the sticker, the bumper sticker in a car, the conversation you were passing through. You have this freedom to know, to be so connected with, in line with you and source, that everything flows without being in a stuck energy. Now, does this happen all the time? No. In fact, I've had a couple of the flowness, sometimes it gets stuck, and I feel like in a little hurricane. As I'm getting ready to have another change in my life. The secret is that you don't feel like now there is this inner water that's going to pull you down. You just feel a little dizzy by, hey, there's something you need to pay attention to. And the wake up moment to know and recognize that that is happening is faster. The process of transformation and understanding that something needs to be paid attention to is clearer. So as you do this inner work, because you're so in line with who you are and source, and you now have the lens and the ability to receive with ease, joy, and glory everything that is there for you, that actually has been there for you. Is just that now you have the lens of the gratitude. Now you have the lens of I am one with all. I am not the label. I am not the country where I'm from. I am not the belief system that I'm from. And when you have all that, you have this inner freedom that even if you're in a pandemic, actually, Picky, this brings me to the first interview that I did during the pandemic that I think most of you, well, you might have new audience. I was in Peru for 9 days, got stuck 8.5 months. So
Yep.
one of the first interviews that they did to me, they say, how are you doing coping with this lockdown? And I said, this is the most freedom I have ever felt in my life. And the interviewer said, Val, what are you talking about? You have been like Peru has been the worst in lockdown. You're not allowed to even go to your garden. That's how bad it was. And it just hit me. It hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the freedom of my soul.
Within. Yep.
Yes.
So, and I do agree with you. It really depends on how you're looking at it, and taking you back to your metaphor of the lenses. It really depends on what lens you're wearing. I used the lockdown to clock my hours, and I completed my PCC. A journey that, thank you. So a journey that people take years to do, I finished in 8 months, and because there was so much of focus and so much of knowing that I am able to contribute in whatever shape or form to myself first and also to the others. So thank you so much. We've also got a question from Vidya. She says, what according to you is the eye of the storm? What would you advise on the same?
Mm. Thank you for the question. I love the interaction. The eye of the storm, it also depends on your limited beliefs or belief system that you have. You don't have to be limited. I'll just take the limited out and just say the belief system that you have. Because what I can see as a storm, you can see as an opportunity to rise and shine. So it really is more of where you are as a human being. Because I can see today, Val, a storm, and back not too long ago I'd freak out. Actually, I disliked thunder, and it gave me fear and fright. And today it actually happened yesterday. I was outside doing my service work, and the sky hit this weird tone, and the ocean started to sound, and I said, wow, I wonder what kind of sunset are we going to have today? See, and so the storm, the eye of the storm, will depend on where you are vibrationally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Because anything that happens in your life, whether it's even the loss of somebody, or I mean, there's always, when you are in this path of spirituality, you understand the whys. And you know what? When you don't understand the whys, it's okay to just let it be, because you have this truth that you have seen over and over what the healing journey is about. And how, tell me right now, Urugia, who has not learned something from something, a situation that has come their way tragically? Who, the only thing that doesn't have the solution, like to come out of, well, let's not even go into this topic, would be death. But those that believe in afterlife and all that, okay, I'm not going to go
Afterlife,
there.
yes.
But for the purpose of this conversation, is like, You're completely bankrupt. You know, you always, for the most part, if you are in the path, you will find out a different path, or understand that maybe what you were even doing is not even what was meant for you. So that
True.
eye of the storm gives me a lot to speak about, because now those eyes of the storms are really seen with different lens.
Absolutely, and I think when you're like bang in the middle of the eye of the storm, there's so much going on around on the outside that there's this strange sense of calmness and quiet that is bang in the middle of the storm. I feel, I don't know. I mean,
Yes,
that's how I'm looking at it.
absolutely.
That's how I'm looking at it. So we have another question. Thank you, Vidya, for that question. And Piki says, self judgment. How does one overcome? Thank you. Great question.
Okay, self-judgment. So let's think of, what would you judge yourself about? Um, why did I make this decision and I'm living in a place away from my family? I I mean, there's endless things that you can judge yourself with. But if you know that by judging yourself, it only brings low vibration, and it brings disconnection to source, because we know these things, because we know that one of the aspects of spirituality and growth is self-love and compassion, self-love and self-care. So the question would be to do really a coaching session with anybody from here, you, Rugya, Piki, myself, or whoever they vibrate with. It would be, why am I being so judgmental about this particular aspect? Okay, well, because of what happened to me when I was little. All right, well, how long ago was that? Okay, when I was 7. How long are you willing to carry this? And under what lens are you bringing this into existence now? So when you switch, this it comes with neuro-linguistic programming,
Yep.
NLP. When you
Yep.
switch the question and answer with more compassion, how would you switch that? I wish I had Picky in front right now. Like, instead of saying self-judgment, like, where has been the opportunities for you to grow when you weren't being as graceful to your own heart? Even
Yep.
there, switching the question, right? Because self-judgment is so harsh. So I could say that when I decided to not have a constant place and address, and to flow, right? The way I'm living my life right now, you can understand culturally, my background is Mexican. People do not do that. My community literally thinks I'm something from another planet. Even though you're grown up, you want to ask what your mom says and points of views and all of these, right? So I could say judged, right? And then I maybe self-doubted myself, not in this particular example, but maybe in others, because for this one, I was quite ready for it. Because for this one, the universe put me in lockdown and said, it's time for you to shake up, and we're going to take everything away from you, so you can see that you don't need what you left in Atlanta. You don't need this, you don't need that. And in fact, this is what is there for you to receive, and I received it. So when you are doing the self-judgment, it's lack of self-love for yourself. To how do we get back to the energy of love? By doing practices of love, by giving also and sharing that love with somebody else, and nurturing yourself from the beauty of seeing a seagull fly, like I can see them every morning, by observing the synchronicity of the fish, by looking at the stars and so go back to the connectivity, to be gentle with your heart, reconnect with source, with your heart, because self-judgment is only coming up because somewhere you're echoing something that somebody else had said about you.
I love this. Thank you so much. That was so powerful. Thank you. So while everyone's hearing the story of you being stranded in Peru, bits and pieces of it, so tell us what exactly happened and what was your learning from it.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I know, because I love that story.
Okay, so imagine you pack up your bags for 9 days. you're going to go to 5 cities in Peru as a keynote speaker, and you're all planned for 9 days. And in fact, you have everything in the calendar. I was coming back from Peru, and 3 days later, I was going to go to Mexico. I left my bag pre-made, and everything under control. So I only got to go to the first city, and when everything shut down, and I didn't take this journey at the beginning with the grace that I'm talking to you about it. So let's put it into the context of what we've been talking about. I hit the eye of the storm, and I let the swirls take me and the fear take over. So I was acknowledging that. Why? Because my loved ones said, get out of there. You are going to die there. Like, you literally just do anything you can to get out. So I started from lack and fear, trying to talk to the U.S. Embassy. Nobody picked up and so forth. There was no way to go. So what did Val do? I've called all in 5 different TV channels to say, please get me out of here. And I also had a friend that I had just made, a single mom with 5 kids that were left in the U.S., and she got stranded with me. So I was trying to be a vessel of love to her, and I'm like, get my friend out. And I thought, well, if she can get out, maybe even though we were going in different cities, perhaps I can get into the U.S. But I got her to go out, but everything closed for me. And when that happened, and I saw, like, I lost my job that I loved profoundly, and I couldn't pay all the expenses in Peru plus the ones in the U.S., and I had to ask friends to get all my belongings and pack them up, and all this trauma that happened. And then I surrendered. Then I knew that this was deep, because this was not the first time that I had gone through something like so dramatic. And I thought I was done. I had my conversation with Source and said, look, I've done my share. Now, would you please go give your lessons to someone else? Let me just breathe, right? You can come back to me, but let me just have a space. Let me have a space to just catch my breath. And then this came. So then I thought, look, this is good. Like, this is good, because this has to be like something that really will just evolve in a way that I can't possibly see. And that's what happened. Then every opportunity happened for me to do my work in a different level. I've been speaking to universities. My work hit 38,000 people during the pandemic. I was able to do incredible service work with the help of my donors, and etc. And I'm here talking to you because of that pandemic, because then I got to go to Dubai. Now,
yes, and that's
I want to. It's coming up to me to share with your audience, and I want to share with this Ruki, and I know you honor when I'm talking from Source. So, what is something that I want to share with all your audience is that when you are finally back in Source, and you know that you overcame that in a faster way than you thought, and so that self-sabotage is gone, and that self-judgment that Piggy was talking about, and you're like ready to be whole. And I really did do a lot of meditation, a lot of meditation, hours a day. And then Dubai comes into the practice, and I say, yes, I come. Yes, I told Charmaine, love, yes, I'm coming. But how is I going to go? The airplane is closed. The airport is closed. I'm still stuck in Peru. But there was something inside of me that airport was going to be open. There was so much drama. My friends were like, you're going to lose your money. Just cancel it. You're on time. It was 6 days before the day I'm supposed to be in Dubai, and the airport was still closed. But I was under zero stress. 5 days before it opened up, I went to go get my bags, and the rest is history. So what is it about the situations that come our way that can be of so much blessing and light to you that we are missing out because we don't believe in these life transformations, these life lessons that really can bring? And I cannot even put into words right now in your program what that Dubai trip did to my heart, including finding now my second trip, first trip with Piki and you, and now endless people this second time around.
Yeah. So so that's precisely what I was talking about in terms of being in flow with what is coming, right? It's about not resisting, but going with it. Let me go back to Picky's comment. She was talking about move away from what does not serve you. So I said, move with what does not serve you, because that's where the realization comes that, okay, there's a level of acceptance in terms of what's going on. And there's this awareness and mindfulness with which you are allowing yourself to be shaped and molded in that journey of flow. So yes, Picky, surrender to source. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yes,
So, yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one thing. Yes, I'm glad Picky brought this up. It doesn't mean accept everything because it comes from source. You, as a vibrational being, will be able to identify if that frequency, energy, or momentum is not of service to you. Now, rather than running away in 3 seconds, you want to feel the feeling, ask where it's coming from, how long you've been carrying it, why is it showing up again, doing all that work. Now, after you
Yep.
do all that, if you're still feeling that this energy is not of contribution, you say thank you for the lessons, thank you for your love, and no thank you, and
Return.
you return, right? And
Return to sender.
I've done that multiple times. And you know what? When the time comes, those energies, if that person's meant to be in your life again, if it's a person, it will come back and in a better, higher spirit. And I'm actually living that with my own brother, I must say. I said, we share the same blood and I love you. And if something happens to you, I'll be happy to donate my organ to you. Now, at this present moment, our journeys are not aligned, our frequencies are not aligned. That does not mean I love you. I love you deeply. I also love myself. So I will honor this and be doing my own discovery, self-discovery, and you do yours. And we shall meet when the time has come. And now the time has come. So it's actually really neat. But it was quite a few number of years that we just needed to live our own truth. Now, are
I
you
like
going to
that.
buy into the drama of the mom being, oh, my children separated? No, Mama, I love you. You've been an amazing mother. You are an amazing mother. These are all our own healing journey. And
Hmm.
you live your truth. If something is coming up for me to share with your audience, live your own truth.
Live your own truth. I just have to type that down. Live your own truth. And that's so powerful, isn't it? Because what is the truth? At the end of the day, it's everybody's version of something else, right? Because as you said, each one of those persons who came down the mountains shared their truth with the man. They shared what they experienced, they shared what they saw, and it was their truth. Had he gone up the path, he would have seen his truth, his version of the truth. And yet there is so much of resistance in terms of, oh, but what I said was the truth and what you said isn't really the truth. But it might just be contradictory there. So interesting. Live your own truth. I remember when my kids were growing up, and I'm a single child. When my kids were growing up, they would, constantly fight and everything. And one fine day, and I would lecture them about how they have to be grateful. The mother, as you said, are you going to buy into the drama? So I would lecture them about how they have to be happy and grateful that they have each other. And at that point, I think after a year of listening to that sermon of mine, my son said, "Ma, to fight as siblings is part of our job description."
I love that.
So this is a child who's like 5, 6 at that time, and he goes, "Please, it's part of our job description." And that was it. I realized that what I'm doing is interrupting and interfering in their relationship, and I don't need to do that. I need for them to evolve in their relationship and to grow therefrom. Yes.
Exactly. I absolutely love that. And that brings up to me a story that I'd like to share with you and your audience, because going back to living your own truth, and it's a beautiful story that I haven't shared pretty much with anybody, and it'll be quick because but I
Please,
really like sharing it. So
please.
in the service life that I have, well, in this particular time frame is a lot to do with homelessness. So I was walking the beach like I do every day after meditation, and there was a sign in the wall that says, "Where is love?" Like kind of a graffiti. And there was this man, and I did post his picture in my social
Yes, I,
media.
I remember seeing it.
But you don't know the second part of this. Okay, so this man
Please.
had his back to the ocean, and I could see that he was really
Oh,
aching. I could feel his energy. And so I sat next to him to really feel his energy. And I'm like, I'm going to go get him some breakfast and come back and, and have breakfast with him. As I was doing this practice, these people came by and said, Val, you know, we have seen what you do. You're a sweet girl, a woman, but please do not help this man. We have tried to help him. He's dangerous, and in fact, he's evil, and he's drunk. He does drugs. And I said, okay, thank you for sharing your interesting point of view. And I let them go. Now, as a single woman alone here, how many of you, I'm asking the audience, would have just said a prayer and walked away? If I show a raise of hands, I would say quite a few people.
quite a few of them. Yep.
So what I did, I went to go get that breakfast. I came back, and with all the love that I had in me, I woke this man up. He ate like if he had not eaten, he said, in more than 4 days. And we had the most amazing conversation that, in fact, I have it recorded because he still had so much wisdom. Yes, he had the effects of drugs and all of that. He didn't smell quite nice. I didn't care. I loved sharing that meal with him. And he said to me, one day when I see you in the streets, I'm going to gift you a flower that I make with palm trees because I will never forget you. So time went by. Last Friday, which is 2 months after this episode, I'm eating in the plaza, and this man comes to me and says, I found you. I
Wow.
found you. And he makes this flower for me and had remembered that story. You know, in fact, all with drugs and the effect of all that. And tell me, why would I have stopped to live this lesson based on the experiences of these people? Why do we stop? Why do we stop? I say enough, you know? And if, to be honest, if something would have happened to me, this is words from my mother that I will honor until 5 more lifetimes. She said, if I die, giving service is the best death ever. This is what I love to do. So to the point of the conversation of this time with the audience is just like feel your heart and do what you feel is the right thing to do. You will be surprised because I cannot really share with you what that feeling was when he came to me with so much love. So
Mm,
I just want to open that space of oneness and that space of non-judgment, not for yourself, not for others. It doesn't bring us good vibration, good feelings, good energy. It only hurts us when we see us separated and when we hurt ourselves by judging our own selves.
yes. I know we're running out of time, but I really have to ask you this question, Val. How important is it to be kind to yourself?
Mm, it's a must. You know, and it's something that I work on a daily basis as well because I love my work so much. In fact, I feel I don't even want to call it work. I lose track of time of the self care, you know, to eat and do my practices. So what I do, I really put now a calendar and a time and an alarm to remember to eat and to pause. If we are not well, if we don't take care of ourselves, we really cannot take care of others or be inspirational to others because then, gracias, we would not be into congruency in how are you and I, us public speakers, gonna get on stage or on camera without doing it? Now, it is an aspect that I'm still working on, but I raised my hand and I said I need help. So, in fact, the fact that you asked me that, I'm thankful because that is the one aspect that I'm constantly trying. So, I built a little tribe here, and I have fresh fruit, and I am blessed to be paying attention and to do something about it. But again, if you also fall into that place where you're like really missing out, to be okay and not judge yourself, just with love and compassion, do something different today that you didn't do yesterday. Baby
Mm,
steps towards your growth, baby steps to finding that Val, that Rukia, that Tiki, that Nancy, Lisa, Marcus, whomever that is inside, to be our best version of ourselves.
True. And I love that you call it baby steps, because isn't when a baby is walking and it's taking its first few steps, it does tend to fall. It does tend to fall and get hurt, right? But a baby who's learning to walk does not say, oh, I fell down once, I fell down twice, I'm not a walker. It doesn't give up on itself. So I think when you're taking those baby steps, if you slip and fall, it's also important that you are kind to yourself, that you are empathetic towards your own feelings, and not just out there for the others, but also there for yourself. So baby steps, indeed, in every way possible.
Absolutely.
What would you like to close this conversation with?
Hmm. Well, I want to say thank you for this space. It's always an
Thank
honor to
you.
see
Thank
you.
you.
I feel
Thank you.
no distance of time and place when I'm with beings of light like you. So you are a true role model to me to be of
Thank you.
service, because you have showed up in this camera. If I lost track for how many thousands of days or hundreds, and how long have you been on this?
1122 today.
So that commitment, when I have not done lives, just gives me such a push to be better every day. So I want to thank you for that. So to close this segment is to thank everyone watching. If you find this of service to you, please share, because it's always just sharing the love and light. You never know that 1% of this conversation can help somebody deeply. And what I really just want to hold a place of grace and maybe have those words resonate in your soul is: live your own truth, be gentle with your heart, and know that everything that you are looking in the outside is already inside. Your mission might not be well known by you at this precise moment, but you don't have to search for it. It's inside by you taking care of yourself, taking care of others, being in congruent, living in congruency. All these aspects of your life that you are seeking will be evolved in the most beautiful, loving way. So raise your hands out, pour your hands out, and be ready to receive with ease, joy, and glory everything that is yours from divine source.
Thank you so much, Val, for sharing with us your wisdom, your love, your energy. Everybody, I'm sure, could feel it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the live and also later on the replay. Thank you. Do, as Val said, do share it. Share this precious conversation with anyone who needs to receive this message. Believe me, this was really magical for me, and for those of you who've experienced it. Thank you once again, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.